To me, the biggest danger we have is not that the fascists are at the door, but that democracy is not delivering on its promises, which means people aren't motivated enough to show up. Bidenomics, certainly there's some good things about that, but Bidenomics does not speak to the fundamental economic despair of a majority of Americans right now. The message that the economy is basically doing well is contrary. I could take my seatbelt off, right? That's pretty funny. Bidenomics as the message for what would win for the Democrats in 2024 is in contradiction to the visceral experience of the majority of Americans. That's why I believe that offering the American people an agenda that's a genuine economic alternative to the status quo is the way we win in 2024. And with me as candidate, it's the way we will win in 2024. Universal health care, tuition-free college, and tech schools. Once again, everything I'm saying here is a moderate position in every other advanced democracy. And we had that tech school issue until the 1970s in this country, public colleges and universities. Childcare, paid family leave, cancel the college loan debt, all of it. And why? Because it should never have existed. It was taking advantage of our young people's desire to, try to live a better life. And housing, guaranteed housing, and definitely a guaranteed living wage. We talk about raising it to 15, but in most major cities in the United States, a living wage is above 20. We also need to make a emergency level just transition from majority economy to a clean economy and from a war economy to a peace economy. That's the general issue here, but let me go back to these questions. How can the president help with the insane anti-LGBT laws in Florida? Well, a lot of these laws, we do have a federal system. There are state laws. There are places where the federal government can get involved, places where the federal government cannot. I'm sure that many of these laws will be challenged within Florida on civil rights abuses, etc. As president, I can tell you that one of the first things I would do is accord special protection to transgender Americans, because they basically are a targeted group right now. And vigorously, I want the Department of Justice to vigorously prosecute any civil rights violations regarding LGBTQ and transgender Americans. Now, on the federal, the issue of what's happening in Florida, all that we can do is support the efforts that are being made. The president can't sort of come in there and say, Florida, you can't do that. That's not our system. But I would do everything within the purview, excuse me, of what was my power. And you better believe I would use the bully pulpit, and I would be speaking out, and would love to have a transgender American in my administration. I think that would be very cool, actually. What can be done about indigenous people's rights being threatened? It's a pattern, unfortunately, that has been with us since the very beginning. The Black Hills of South Dakota, of course, should be given back. They were accorded in a treaty in 1864. They should belong to the Sioux, to whom we promised them. And everything that we've been doing is continuing today, of course, with these pipelines through indigenous lands, the water protectors. We've seen so much horror. Really started a lot of the criminalization of environmental protest. I'm in disputes between big oil and their pipelines and the indigenous people. I think you know whose side that I am on. Will you debate RFK or Biden? I would love to. Of course, I've been begging, as everybody else, please, for the president to debate me. It's so interesting. I read an article today, and some Democratic congressman was saying, shame on the Democratic Party that we don't have any competition. Hello, excuse me, you have competition. RFK and Marianne Williamson are running. I remember towards the beginning of after I announced, I saw some MSNBC pundit, and she was very annoyed that I was running. And she made a comment that the way to handle it would be just to ignore me and pretend that I wasn't there. And I thought at the time, well, you can't do that. But that's actually what they're doing. In the New York Times poll that came out this week, among likely Democratic voters, it said Biden at 64, Bobby at 13, and me at 10. And then in the tab that was 18 to 29-year-olds, the president at 34 and me at 27, and Bobby at 13. So that's very exciting. Only 7-point difference between me and President Biden among Gen Z. So I'm telling you, first of all, I want to say to you who are Gen Z, particularly here on TikTok, thank you. Thank you. I feel there's a little bit of a love affair going on here. I see you and you see me. That's how I feel. And I'm really grateful to you. Really grateful. And you got to keep going and got to make it bigger. And just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. But thank you so much for what you have done and the fire that you are lighting. And everywhere I go, I meet young people who, I see you on TikTok, and kind of amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Climate emergency. Can you go into detail about your climate agenda? We need to declare a climate emergency. We need to make an emergency level mass mobilization. What it means to say that the president has declared an emergency about something means that you can override some of the strictures that would otherwise keep the president from being able to do what they might want to do once you declare officially an emergency. We need to ramp down fossil fuel extraction, not be ramping it up. The president has approved the Willow Project, $8 billion oil extraction project, ConocoPhillips, on the North Slope of Alaska. I will cancel it on day one. And this president, Biden, has given more oil drilling permits even than Trump did. That stuff stops when I am president. The catastrophe is already here. It's not even what's might happen or what is going to happen. It's already here. What will your White House garden look like? This person probably is aware that Melania Trump destroyed the Jacqueline Onassis Rose Garden and raised private funds, I think, and brought in her own garden situation, and I'm like with all the people who look at that and go, it's awful. So I would love to raise private funds. I don't see the government spending that money, but if private funders will, I'm sure. I have no doubt that they kept those plans for the Jackie Kennedy Rose Garden. And one of the things that I would love to do is return the Jacqueline Rose Garden to its former beautiful state. I had the honor of meeting Jacqueline Onassis. Wow, really one of the highlights of my life. And a few stories there. Beautiful. Can you explain baby bonds? Baby bonds is the idea that there is accorded to every individual, really at birth, a certain amount of money that is held in trust for them. I think 18 years old is usually what the baby bond issue is, and then that money can be used for either educational purposes or purposes of starting a business, something in life. So I think it's a great idea because I believe that public policy should support people in thriving. It should support people in living their best life. That's the thing. And too often, people today understandably feel like government does more to thwart their dreams than to support their dreams. Some of you have been reading stories about me that are untrue. What can I say? What will you do as far as abolishing the Electoral College? The president cannot just come in and abolish the Electoral College. It will be abolished because I think, and I don't know if it'll be even in my lifetime, but it's simply, generations are coming to understand that there's no need for it and no real purpose for it at this point. It actually gets in the way. In every other race, whoever gets the most votes wins, and that's how it should be as well. That will take, however, legislation, and I certainly would support that legislation. Actually, I think it would take a constitutional amendment. Wendy, do you know?
I don't.
whichever it is, whether it's a constitutional amendment or legislation, I would definitely support it. Do I support? Okay, what do you say to folks who are afraid that you'll split the vote? I'm running in the primary. You can't split the vote if you're running in the primary. This is like 101A, you know? It's like elementary school level. Like this idea that you'll split the vote, it's a primary. Democracy is a good thing. The Democratic or Democratic-leaning electorate should decide who the candidate is. You, everyone else, if you were thinking of voting as a Democrat or if you're an independent, you should listen to Bobby and his plans for the next 4 years. You should listen to me and my plans for the next 4 years, and listen to the president and his plans for the next 4 years. And you should decide what you think is the best direction for the country. And that's why we should have debates, so that you get to hear us all and go, yeah, I want this person or that person right now. The DNC, the Democratic Party, is doing everything possible to make sure, I can't speak for, what's happening with Bobby, but I can in my campaign, just everything possible to make sure I'm not heard. I've been campaigning all day today. When we are on the ground and when we are actually talking to people, it's golden. And standing ovations, and we got it going on. But between the hit pieces and the, mainstream media not having me on, and other voices who, for whatever reason, just won't give me a shot, It's this kind of invisibilization, and it's depressing. But I don't feel it means we're supposed to stop. And I'm very grateful to all of you who are continuing to support the campaign. Also, one of the things I've said before that I hope you'll remember: don't think $1 is too little. Don't think $2 is too little. Don't think $3 is too little. All the way up to $6,600, obviously. The more money we have, the more we can expand the reach of the campaign and get the message out there. The thing about my agenda is it is the agenda that aligns with the majority will of both Republicans and Democrats. Both Republicans and Democrats, poll after poll say they want universal health care. They want tuition-free college and tech school. The problem is not the American people. The problem is a political system that makes it very, very difficult for the real will of the people to be effectuated, because our system is basically legalized bribery, Too many lawmakers do more to serve the profit maximization goals of their corporate donors than to serve the express will, not even to mention the health, safety, and well-being of the American people. And that's why I think it will be, and has to be actually at this point, somebody from outside the system. Somebody would say, oh, but you're not qualified. What is qualified to those people? It means qualified to maintain and perpetuate the system as it is. My qualification is to disrupt it, because what is baked into the cake at this point is a tyrannous status quo. It is economically tyrannous. We do not have universal health care because of the insurance companies. We don't have, we have people rationing their insulin and people dying from lack of health care. Pharmaceutical companies, people who cannot afford their medicine. We have carcinogens in our food, PFAS in our water. What has been done to farming, all because of big food, big agriculture, big chem. We don't even have common sense gun safety laws because of gun manufacturers. We have a way too little response to climate change. I mean, way too little. I'm sorry for those of you saying, well, we have some good green investments in the Inflation Reduction Act. Yes, we do, but they are nullified by the fact that we continue to subsidize and give all these oil permits to big oil. And of course, I'm sure you're aware that far too much of our military policies and our foreign policies are dominated by the defense contractors, by the military-industrial complex. So we have to, when it comes to big oil, when it comes to defense spending, it doesn't even matter at this point whether you're talking about Democrats or Republicans. They all vote that way. So, it's not like if I go in there, everything's going to be all right within a week or even within those 4 years. That's not the way it works. The president does not have a magic wand, but you would feel the change begin to happen. You would feel the initiation of the season of repair because you'd have a president who lays it down the way I'm laying it down, which is the way we all know is true. And people on the left and on the right are beginning to realize now the corporate tyranny that takes place in this country. Okay. Israel, somebody's asked about Israel and Palestine. So Israel has a very right-wing government right now, more right-wing than they've ever had. And it's very important to recognize what is going on. The occupation is illegal at this point. The settlements are illegal. The blockade of Gaza is wrong. The United States gives, it was called the Memorandum of Understanding. It started with Obama. There is now $3.8 billion in military aid that does go to Israel that is going until 2008. It would take an act of Congress to actually take the money away. What I could do as president and would do is absolutely demand that none of that money is to be spent on anything that transgresses human rights as we declare them. Nothing that would have to do with the occupation, nothing that would have to do with the settlements and so forth. Sometimes in life you tell your best friends the truth. There have been some policies in the United States that I have deeply disagreed with. I still love the United States. Sometimes you love a country, you're an ally with a country, and you still declare some serious disagreements. And there are some serious disagreements there. Okay, I think, what does it say? I'll look now and I'll see, speaking the truth. I think it's so sad they don't. Loved you on TYT a few days ago. Thank you. Two-state solution. Some of this stuff is going so quickly. All I can say is that, let me give you a little bit of a lowdown on how the campaign is going. Despite the invisibilization, despite the smears, despite the kind of incredible hits that we take, we are, can I say we're soaring? Can't say we're soaring, but we're inching forward. Can I say we're breaking through? Well, in certain places, when you see the tab on the New York Times poll that shows only 7 points difference between me and the president in terms of Gen Z, yeah, some good things are happening. But Gen Z are not the only generation either, so we have a lot of work to do. But this candidacy matters. This campaign matters because this campaign is saying the things that the majority of Americans are saying that they want, and that the system in many ways resists. Because the full actualization of our own democratic ideals and humanitarian values would undercut the current corporate bottom line. We have to do that, though. The things I'm talking about, they're not even considered radical lefty positions in other advanced democracies. They're moderate positions. And they should be in ours. So I'm in it to win it, and I need your help. So I hope you will go to Marianne2024.com. I hope that you will give what you can. Like I said, don't think $1 is too little, actually, because everything is an investment, the energy itself. Please sign up to volunteer. The volunteers are amazing. We have an amazing staff. We have wonderful people. Something beautiful here. I hope you'll join us. And sorry that I was so late today. I hope you understand this is what a campaign is. And actually, I'm leaving right now, and I'm going to go campaign some more. I'm in Detroit. Do I have any more public events tomorrow, Wendy?
You have Starbucks in the morning.
Oh, yeah. So Starbucks is doing a unionization sort of strike day tomorrow all around the country. So
It doesn't say.
I don't know, but you can look up Amazon Strike Day or whatever. I'll be doing that tomorrow. And then I'm going to Las Vegas. And what night am I speaking in Las Vegas?
Thursday night the 10th.
Thursday night the 10th, I'll be speaking in Las Vegas at
CSL/Unity.
CSL Unity.
Go to the website?
Go to the website. Go to Marianne2024.com. Go to the events page. And then I'll be back in New Hampshire. Right. I'll be in Chicago for the Parliament of World Religions, and I'll be at Iowa for the straw poll. If you're in Iowa or any surrounding state, I need you to vote for us in the Iowa straw poll.
You don't have to be an Iowa resident.
Yeah, but
you don't have to be an Iowa resident. You have to go to the fair.
No, I understand all that. But where people can find out more information about that, we need to post that on the...
Probably on the events page.
Yeah, that will be posted on the events page very soon, because I'll be speaking at the Iowa State Fair, and then I need you to get there because I need you to vote, please, for us in the Iowa straw poll. That's really a big deal. Then I'll be going back to New Hampshire. Then I'll be going to South Carolina. I'm going to be going to the border not too long after that. So please sign up, Marianne2024.com. Tell your friends. Share your heart, become aware, and if your thinking aligns with mine, join with me, join with all the people who are seeing in this a possibility for genuine repair for the United States. It's very exciting. We have a window here. We can do great things. Thank you so, so much.